So we have already seen the state space representation for linear systems, and we saw that it is of this form. Is the differential equation for the state vector x, and then you have the algebraic equation representing the for the output. Okay, so x is the state vector, u is the input vector, and y is the output vector, and a, b, c, d are system parameters. Okay, so now to see the behavior of the output y with respect to the input u, okay, and the initial condition x at t0, let's say that this is equal to x0. Okay, if we want to see with respect to time as the input u varies, how would the output y be for this particular system, then we have to know the solution for the differential equation. So essentially we have to find out what x of t is going to be, and once we find out what x of t is going to be, the algebraic equation, which is y equal to cx plus du, will essentially tell me what the output is going to be with respect to the particular input that we have applied to the system. Okay, so we need to solve this or find a solution to this particular differential equation. Okay, so what we'll start with is a system where the input is 0. So we'll first see when the input is 0, how is the evolution of x. Okay, so we'll basically be seeing how the system evolves when it is subjected to some initial condition. When there is some initial condition of the system and the input is not present, then how the system evolves. Okay, before we proceed, please note that we are considering real systems, and hence x of t belongs to Rn. So this is a nth order system that we are considering. Y of t, the output, belongs to Rp. U of t belongs to Rm. And on these lines, we also have A of t being a n cross n matrix, B of t being a n cross m matrix, C of t is a p cross n matrix, and D of t is a p cross m matrix, and all these matrices are real matrices. Okay, we'll start with the fact that the input is identically 0, and we'll see the solution for this differential equation when the initial condition is x0. Okay, so we'll not go into the details of deriving the solution, but I'll tell you this. So what is the structure of the solution? So consider a sequence of what we can term as approximate solutions to the above equation. Okay, which equation? It's h dot equal to ax. Now how do we generate the sequence? What is the sequence that is approximately that? is this. The x0t is the first element in the sequence, and it is something which is equal to the initial condition itself. So we are saying that the approximate solution for this is a solution which is the constant initial condition. Okay, this is the first entry of the sequence. Okay, the next entry, which is x1. Okay, x0 of t is an Rn. Okay, x1 is what? x1, we say that it is a solution which is this. Okay, so the next entry in the sequence is being generated by using the first entry of the sequence. That is how you keep on generating the sequence. So this is another solution, approximation, okay, of the solution. So if I want to generate the next in the sequence, and please note that x1 also belongs to Rn, h2 will also belong to Rn. If I generate the next sequence will be generated from x1 and will be generated as this. Okay, so as we proceed, basically the xkth sequence entry in the sequence will be generated from the xk minus 1 entry as this. Yeah, and we can keep on generating this sequence. So this is an infinite sequence. Okay, and we keep on generating the subsequent entries in the sequence by using the previous entry. So xk is generated from xk minus 1, xk plus 1 will be generated by xk, and so on. So these are all approximate solutions. So as k approaches infinity, the series, this is a series that you are doing. It is x0, x1, x2, x3, x4, xk, and then just keeps on going. So it is an infinite series. As xk approaches infinity, as k approaches infinity, the series finally converges to the actual solution xt. Okay, so you keep on generating the subsequent entry in the sequence using this particular regeneration method. As you keep on doing that, the approximations get better and better, and as you proceed further, as you come closer and closer to the infinite sequence, you finally tend to converge towards the actual solution. Okay, so now because this is the case, we need to know what is the exact structure or how x is going to look like. Okay, so how do we do that? So for this, we'll see how xk can be related to the first entry in the series, which was x0 of t. If you can do that, then as k approaches infinity, we'll come to know how the solution is going to be related to the initial entry in the series, which was x0 of t. Okay, so for this, we'll use the definition of, or rather the way in which the series has been generated. So we had that the first entry in the series was this, which is basically the initial condition. What was the second entry? It was x1 of t to be equal to x0 plus T0 till T A sigma 1 x0 of sigma 1 d sigma 1, right? So this is nothing but x0 plus T0 till T A sigma 1. x0 sigma 1 is nothing but the initial condition, which is constant with respect to time, right? It is this. So this is x1 of t. Let's come to x2 of t. x2 of t is what? x2 of t is x0 plus T0 t A sigma 1 x2 sigma 1 d sigma 1. Sorry, not x2. It's x1 sigma 1 d sigma 1, which is x0 plus T0 till t A sigma 1. And now here we'll substitute the expression for x1 sigma 1 which we have obtained in terms of x0, which is x0 plus T0 till t, in fact not T0 till t because it is sigma 1, so this is T0 till sigma 1 A sigma 2 x0, this will be d sigma 2. So this entire thing is x1 sigma 1. This is x1 sigma 1. Then you have d sigma 1. So what you essentially have is x0 T0 till t A sigma 1 x0 d sigma 1 plus T0 till sigma 1 T0 till t A sigma 1 multiplied by T0 till sigma 1 A sigma 2 x0 d sigma 2 d sigma 1, right? Which I can further simplify, or I can further write as I, which is the identity matrix. I'll write it as IN plus T0 till t A of sigma 1 d sigma 1 T0 till t A of sigma 1 T0 till sigma 1 A of sigma 2 d sigma 2 d sigma 1 x0. So this is what x2 is going to look like in terms of the initial value x0, right, in the entire series. So similarly, you can also find out that the next entry x3 of t is going to be in plus T0 till t A sigma 1 d sigma 1 plus T0 till t A sigma 1 T0 till sigma 1 A sigma 2 d sigma 2 d sigma 1 plus T0 till t A sigma 1 T0 till sigma 1 A sigma 2 T0 till sigma 2 A sigma 3 d sigma 3 d sigma 2 d sigma 1. I need a little more space to complete. this entire thing multiplied by x0. So this is x3. Now if you see this, what is xk going to look like? Xk of t is going to be identity t0 till t a sigma 1 b sigma 1 plus integration t0 till t a sigma 1 t0 till sigma 1 a sigma 2 d sigma 2 d sigma 1 and so on till t0 till t a sigma 1 t0 till sigma k minus 1 a sigma k d sigma k multiplied till d sigma 1 x of 0. This is what xk of t is going to be. We know that limit k approaching infinity, xk of t will be the solution x of t. Okay, so the actual solution x of t is I plus t0 till t, so it's in t0 till t a sigma 1 d sigma 1 is going to be an infinite series. Okay, this is an infinite summation that you have multiplied by x of 0. So this entire thing inside the square bracket, we will represent it as a function of t and t0, because if you notice, the matrix depends on what is the starting time t0 and what time you are interested in, which is t. So we'll represent it as this, and then you have x0. Okay, so basically this phi t comma t0 is nothing but this is what is this, and this matrix that you get here is known as the state transition matrix, also popularly known as the STM. Okay, and the series that you have got here, basically this infinite sum that you have got, is basically the Peano-Baker series way of solving for the state transition matrix. Okay, for linear systems, this solution that you get this solution x of t for a given t0 and x0 always exists, which means you'll always find a feasible solution and is unique. over what interval? For all time t greater than equal to t0. So if someone says that at my starting time is t0 and when I start my initial condition is x0, how would my system represented by x dot equal to ax evolve? So you will find that you will be definitely be able to find a solution to this differential equation, and not only that, the solution to this differential equation is also unique, which means that there is no other solution other than what you have found out that will satisfy the same differential equation for the same initial condition and the starting time. So we'll stop here. Thank you.